one of the questions I get a lot is, can I have more than one IRA account?
Yeah, good question. So yeah, you can have as many different IRA accounts as you please.
All right, everybody. Welcome, passive traders, to another edition of the OptionGenius podcast. Today, I have with me Mr. Brad Janetz of Midland Trust. How you doing, Brad?
I am doing great. Happy to be here. Thanks for
Awesome.
having me.
Thank you for spending some time with us. The reason I brought Brad on is because when we were starting the fund, we had investors or people that I was talking to, and they're saying, hey, that sounds great. I want to do it. Can I do it with my IRA? Can I do it with some other money I have in a retirement account? And to be honest, I didn't know the answer to that. So I went back to my lawyers and other people that I've met in the hedge fund community. And I'm like, hey, how do we do this? How do we set this up? And they're like, oh, you know what? Just talk to Brad. Okay. Who's Brad? And I talked to somebody else. Oh yeah, just talk to Brad. And I'm like, give me Brad's number. So I finally got Brad's number. I gave him a call and he explained everything to me. So I said, whoa, this is pretty cool. I think more people need to know about this. So I wanted to have Brad on the show and have him explain how it works, basically. Because what I realized is that you can use your IRA for a lot more than just having it at your broker and buying and selling stocks and options. So that's what we want to talk about today with Brad. Is that true, Brad?
That is true. That is true. So just a quick little summary of who I am, who Brad is, the infamous Brad here. So, I've been with Midland now for 13 years. It was my first job out of college. And really what we are is an alternative investment custodian, also called a self-directed IRA company. And really what that means is we allow you to put your retirement money to work in things outside of the stock market. Okay. And I will say, when I went through going through college and was trying to learn about financial products, this was not something that I knew about. And then all of a sudden, I joined Midland and learned this whole new world of alternative investing, and specifically alternative within IRA accounts. And so really where this whole ideology comes from is that there is something in the world of our IRAs called an IRA custodian. An IRA custodian is an IRS approved company, financial services company, that's allowed to hold retirement assets, basically open an account for an individual, deposit money, kind of deploy money at the discretion of the individual, do some tax reporting requirements, and effectively kind of provide the landscape of investment that the individual wants to get into. And nobody really knows that this whole IRA custodian thing even exists out there, because we've all just went to brokerages throughout time, and Fidelities and Schwab's and all those institutions out there that we're all used to, and they are great institutions that allow you to set up retirement accounts and start investing, but they are known to allow you to invest in the public markets, mutual funds, Apple stock, ETF, that kind of thing. We all just kind of know the IRA custodian as also the brokerage, because the big brokerages out there basically are allowed to play both sides of the equation, okay, being the IRA company and also the investment arm, which is the brokerage. Okay. But then when you get into other types of investments out there, what I'll call alternative, but mainly private investments. So think real estate, think private investment funds like a hedge fund, think startup companies like a bar or restaurant or a new tech company, think precious metals, gold and silver, think cryptocurrency, all of those different avenues out there of investing. Those aren't both the investment option and the IRA company. And so what happens is you have the investment side, and then if you want to invest IRA money into it, then you have to find somebody like Midland that operates as the IRA company side to allow you the opportunity to go into other investments. Okay. And where most people probably don't realize is, it takes a little bit of wherewithal. You got to know about these opportunities in order to really take advantage of them. And so you have to find these opportunities, and it really kind of takes somebody that's a little bit more wanting to and willing to take control of their own retirement account to go out and find these new opportunities, in order to, take advantage of them into your IRA account.
Right. Okay. So, because like in the past, I've had, we teach at OptionGenius, we teach people how to trade stock options. And in the past, we've had several people approach us and say, I want to do this in my hedge fund. What can I do? And they're like, well, depends on your broker. Some brokers will allow you to do something. Some brokers will allow you to do other things. It really depends. There's no one size fits all. But even in certain situations, there are some strategies that you can do, but other people cannot do. So it's like depending on the person. And we've always told people, people like, look, this is your money. This is your IRA, right? This is your retirement. If you want to be able to do something, you should be able to do it. It's not the law that is saying that you cannot invest in this stock option or you cannot do this strategy. It is that particular broker. And so if you don't like what they're doing, you find another broker, right? In this case, you're saying that as a custodian, you guys allow people to do a lot more things than just, like you said, public stocks, bonds, options, including hedge funds, real estate, loaning money, all these other kind of things. But you guys are the custodian, not the brokerage. So if I have my money with you, then I can't trade that money, correct? It just sits in the account until I'm ready to invest it somewhere?
Yeah, that's correct. So that's a great point in question. So with somebody like us, we are not a brokerage. Okay. So nobody sets up an account with us to trade equities or options or futures contracts or anything like that. Okay. We are kind of an avenue to get into another vehicle of some sort. Okay. And so let's take a hedge fund, for example. Okay. So hedge funds can have lots of different types of strategies, option strategies, future strategies, crypto strategies, all long only, long short equity, lots of different types of strategies. Okay. And you are allowed to use your IRA to invest in all of those different types of strategies. Okay. So then it comes down to, the IRA company allowing you to do such thing, which really just comes down to the comfort level of the IRA company that you have in place. Okay. And so if you have somebody like such as Midland, where we specialize in helping individuals get their money into, hedge funds at the discretion of the individual, and really how that works is, they're going to, let's say you have an IRA at a more traditional brokerage, like a, Fidelity or Schwab, you're going to set up that same type of IRA account with us here at Midland, transfer over whatever amount of money that you feel comfortable with deploying. So, that's completely up to you and you as the investor and the investment that you're getting into and whatever you two agree upon. Okay. And we'll be responsible for transferring your money over from your existing retirement account. Then that money comes over to Midland. But then again, you don't do any sort of trading through us. So you have to find some sort of vehicle that you want to go into. And then there's usually a document associated with such vehicle. Like if you're going into a hedge fund, there's going to be a subscription agreement involved. And then it's our job, along with the investment manager, to make sure that that subscription agreement is kind of completed the way it should, to read that your IRA is making an investment into this private instrument. Okay. And so basically you're giving us, the IRA custodian, direction to facilitate an investment on your behalf. And then your money would then be deployed into, said hedge fund for you to effectively be in, whatever strategy you see fit. That hedge fund manager's job is then to trade the strategy, make money, but it's all done within an IRA account, just in a more privatized paper instrument rather than, trading on a more tech-driven platform on public exchanges.
Okay. Now, one of the questions I get a lot is, and people, they're unfamiliar with it, is that can I have more than one IRA account?
Yeah, good question. So yeah, you can have as many different IRA accounts as you please. So there's just the only thing that there is a maximum on is the amount of money that you're allowed to put into said retirement account from your personal money into retirement accounts. So there's
Every year.
contributions.
So the deposit, yeah.
Yeah, each year. So there's contribution limits. Okay. So each year, kind of anywhere from kind of $6,500 to $20,000, depending on your IRA type. But let's say that you have $1 million in a Fidelity IRA account, you could transfer over 100,000 to an IRA at Midland, 100,000 over to another IRA at Schwab, another IRA somewhere else. So you can have as many different IRA accounts as you want to deploy in a bunch of different ways, if that is what makes sense to you. So that's kind of the nifty thing of IRA accounts. It's very easy to move money in and out of them, and then you can deploy in lots of different ways, if that makes sense for you.
Awesome. Cool. Now, we've had some issues with financial institutions going under. So I just wanted to ask, about Midland and how secure you guys, how many accounts you guys have, how long you've been doing this, and then the money that we have on deposit with you, if it's not invested somewhere, is that secured?
Yeah, no, good question. I mean, that's on everybody's mind. I mean, it's honestly, what's funny is, we never got this question. I never, my 13 years never got this question ever. And now over the past 6 months, it's came roaring up. So yeah, so what's interesting about our business is that money comes in and leaves very quickly. So, so for example, we're never really holding anyone's cash for an extended period of time. When we're working with us, again, we're going to transfer your money over from Fidelity or wherever. It's going to come over and it's going to sit with us for usually about 24 to 48 hours before we in turn get that money allocated to whatever, financial product that you're looking to get into. So I guess from that perspective, you get the peace of mind and knowing that really the money's really not sitting with us very long. So you don't really have to stress too much about that question. But with that said, we are regulated like any other banking institution. We are not a bank, so our money is held with third-party banks, which we mix and mingle depending on the health of those banks. It's like right now, a lot of our cash is been positioned with a Capital One bank, trying to kind of stay away from more of the community banks given the nature of that. But we do choose FDIC insured banks just to make sure that, the protections are on place for the clients, just in case anything does ever happen that we need to be worried about.
Okay.
So.
And how many accounts do you guys have right now?
Yeah, good question. So we have over 20,000 users. So that's 20,000 individuals that have set up IRA accounts with us to invest in something private. And that's all organic clients too. We haven't bought or sold any of our clientele. That's all people that have chose to work with Midland to do something. That makes up of about 5 billion in assets. And that makes up of about 5,000 different fund products that we have worked with over the course of our time. Okay. So that could be hedge funds, private equity, venture capital, early stage ventures, real estate, all kinds of things.
Right.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. So now the traditional brokerage IRA custodian, they make their money on commissions and stuff like that. So how do you guys get paid?
Yeah, good question. So we are, we don't make money off the investment. We make money off the services that we provide, which is the administrative work that goes into moving the money around and making sure that all the investments are properly documented. So really what that is it's a flat $325 a year. So it's $325 a year that we charge, per IRA. And that's not really based on value. So $5,000, $1 million, it's a flat $325. So it's not baked in any expense ratio. So it is a little bit more front and center, so it's not hidden like a lot of other financial products. So it's front and center to you. You're going to see it. And then we have some kind of ancillary fees, like, we do charge $50 to establish an IRA account with us. And then anytime you buy an investment for the first time, it's a transaction fee of $125. So basically what you're looking at is if you were to invest, X amount of dollars into a hedge fund, you'd be $500 for the first year and then $325 for each year thereafter. And that's pretty much what you'd pay with anybody kind of similar to us.
Right. I mean, that's not a big deal, right? You're thinking about making like 100,000 or 200 or more investment. $500 is not that bad.
Yeah. And it stays stagnant, which is, the good thing. So a lot of people, if you ever looked at your 401k fees that you're charging, a lot of people don't even know what they're charging, what they're paying, which, that's another, kind of issue, but it always continues to grow. So you start charging things or paying things you don't even understand you're paying, and it keeps growing on you. You don't even know why it's growing on you. So we like to be front and center with it. So everyone knows what they're paying us and it stays flat. So it's not regardless of value.
Cool. Now I'm kind of biased because I want people to invest in our hedge fund, right? So what is the process? I know we're signed up with you. So anybody that comes to invest with us is going to be working with Midland. That's who we're aligned with. So let's say I have somebody that says, hey, I want to come in, I want to join, but I want to do it through my IRA. What is that process? How do I walk them through it?
Yeah. So anybody's welcome to give us a call first off to just like talk through their scenarios. We understand retirement accounts are, there's a lot of lingo out there that nobody really understands. And then also you may have never removed a retirement account before. So you may just be a little squirmish on that whole process. So first off, you're welcome to give us a call to just talk through your situation and we can walk you through the mechanics of what that looks like. But moral of the story, what actually happens is that you will be establishing, a Midland IRA account. So if you have a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA at another institution, you'll be setting up that same type of IRA with us here at Midland, which is an online application process that you can go to our website to accomplish in, roughly 5 minutes. All right. And then when you go through that application process, you're going to initiate the movement of money from your existing retirement account. Okay. So you'll just input your existing account number and say, hey, I have an account at Fidelity. Here's my Fidelity account number. Here's how I'm transitioning, or here's how much I wish to transition from Fidelity over to Midland. Okay. And then that gives us authorization to go and request those funds on your behalf. Okay. And so then we'll, pull those funds over, bring it over into Midland. And then at that point, your cash is sitting on with us. And that transfer process usually will run its course about 3 to 5 business days. And while that transfer process is running its course, then we will actually be trying to sort through the documentation associated with the hedge fund and, presenting that to the client for completion. One thing that we've learned is that completing documents associated with private investments can be very cumbersome to some family that's never done it before, or even if you have done it before, it's very cumbersome.
It's a
And
lot
so
of paper. Yeah.
yeah, and so we try to present it in a digital format. We actually take it upon ourselves to pre-fill most of it for the client to where they just have to review the documentation in their inbox and then just kind of click a couple buttons and say, yep, this looks good. This is what I want to do. And then once they execute that document, we push that document off to the fund manager for their review. And then once we get the money from Fidelity, we will call the client for one last verbal authorization and say, hey, we're about to send your money off to be invested. Is this what you want to do? They give us the blessing, and then we wire the money from us over to the investment of their choosing, and then they're off and running from there.
Oh,
Okay.
that's cool. I actually like that. The personal touch where you actually get on the phone. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and it's you never can be too careful, especially with lots of money around here. So it's
Mhm.
kind of another layer of identity protection just to make sure we know who we're working with.
And how long does that whole process take?
Yeah, process about 7 days.
Okay.
Kind of give or take a day or two, but that's generally what to expect. And then after that, you will have online access with Midland, so you can follow the investments as they kind of run their course. And then if you ever need to get tax forms down the road, you can log into your Midland account to facilitate. And then if you ever want to add additional funds or distribute funds for any reason, you can do that too. So anything that you would ordinarily be able to do at again, a more traditional brokerage, you'll be able to do those same actions with a Midland account. Okay.
All right. Now, I know we've been talking about IRAs, so I'm assuming that's Roth IRAs and regular IRAs. Are there any other type of accounts you guys work with?
But I would just say the two other types would be employer plans, would be like a SEP IRA, which is self-employed pension,
Okay.
and then a simple IRA, which is kind of similar to a 401k. It's just more designed for small businesses, but again, they're more employer-sponsored plans. The other types of retirement accounts I would say that we work with the most is just people that have old 401ks out there that they would like to roll over into IRA accounts to do this. Okay, and so if you do have a 401k out there, usually it does need to be with a previous employer, okay, in order to be eligible to roll that money over. But if you do, you can roll a 401k directly into an IRA at Midland. Again, you can do just a portion or a whole thing. It's up to you. You can roll that money over into a Midland account and then use that Midland account again to facilitate into whatever investment you want to do.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, I know for the self-employed, the SEPs and simples, they allow you to put a lot more money in. So those are pretty good.
Yeah, no, those are great accounts. So the two more popular ones would be the SEP IRA, self-employed pension, which is a little bit of an easier, cost-effective version. Okay, and then you have what's also called a solo 401k. It's basically a 401k for somebody that's self-employed but does not have employees. Okay, because once you have one employee, a 401k just totally changes from a complexity and testing and all these other rules that you have to worry about. So a 401k is specifically for individuals that want to put away a lot of money. And the good thing about 401k, they have Roth components to them, so you can actually put away a lot of money, up to $60,000 in Roth money, which is a very powerful tool. And then also, if you ever want a loan against it, you can take a loan up to $50,000. So it just kind of allows you some flexibility if you want to put away money. But yeah, it's a SEP IRA is very simple, or is very similar, just doesn't have the loaning tool and a couple other little smaller nuances to it. But both of them together, if you're a small business owner and you really want to save some money on taxes, or just put a lot of money into retirement, that's an easy way to get 60 grand into a retirement account.
Cool. So that's all the questions I had. Is there anything that I did not ask?
I think you nailed everything. I mean, I think I guess one little last kind of comment is that, you being in the hedge fund space, it's really growing in popularity, especially now after, everyone put money into kind of the cheap ETFs forever, and they just went up, and then everything just kind of fell off a cliff. I feel like alternative investments, are now growing really fast in popularity. So good space for you to be in. And, if anyone has any questions or curiosities about this stuff, I'm an open book. Feel free to reach out to me and we can have a chat.
Awesome. Sweet. Yeah. I mean, like you said, I do see that people are becoming more aware of this kind of stuff. And I think it's part of, people like you doing interviews and getting the word out there. We still have people all the time telling us, oh, I don't know what to do. My IRA, I can't. And like, yeah, no, you're not that limited as you think you are. This just takes it to a whole nother level. So this is, the self-directed IRA. And I think it's something that everybody should be looking into at least. So you can do a lot more with it than just, buy your ETFs, like you said.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, yeah, people like me that, provide the IRA product, but also people like you that are coming up with new and interesting products for people to invest in. So I do think it's a tag team. We provide the avenue, but there needs to be solutions out there for people. And if individuals like you are being entrepreneurial and creative, just provides more people opportunities to access the marketplace. So I think it's a dual effort, and hopefully people find it interesting.
Cool. So Brad, how do people get a hold of you?
Yeah, so I'm the only Brad that works at Midland Trust, so you can just go to midlandtrust.com, kind of track me down that way by giving us a call, and I'll just kind of leave it at that. If you want to shoot me an email, it's B as in Brad, Janitz, JANITZ @midlandtrust.com. Otherwise, yeah, just go to our website, track me down. I'm the only Brad at Midland. All right.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here.
All right. Thanks, Alan. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care.